All right, so first I'm going to open up Sheets, and then bottom right hand corner, push the plus, new spreadsheet. You're going to name this your name. So for me, Mr. Fox, profit and loss. I'm going to click on create. And it's going to open up the spreadsheet. You can see across the top I have my columns, A, B, C, D. And then on the left hand side I have my rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So this cell right here, that's going to be A1. This cell right here is going to be B3. This one's right here is going to be C7. So down at the bottom, you can see that it says sheet 1, and bottom right hand corner it says plus. I'm going to tap on plus 2 times, so that way I have 3 sheets down at the bottom. I'm going to name these, and I'm going to tap on sheet 1, tap on it again, click on rename, and you're going to call this profit summary. For sheet 2, I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to tap on rename, and I'm going to call this revenue. Sheet 3, I'm going to tap on that. I'm going to click rename, and I'm going to call this expenses. And now I'm going to click on profit summary to go back to that sheet. I'm going to tap on A1, and I'm going to say revenue. And then I'm going to click this check mark to exit out of the edit box. I'm going to tap on A2. It's going to open up the edit box, and I'm going to type in expenses. If you don't have a iPad keyboard, you can push this little pencil in the bottom right hand corner, and then you can tap down here to open up a keyboard, and then you can type on the screen there. But if you have a keyboard, then you can just tap on A2 and then just start typing. So I'm going to say expenses, and then I'm going to push enter and go down to A3, and then I'm going to say profit. Once I've done that, I'm going to click on this little check mark, top left hand corner, and then I'm going to move over to my revenue spreadsheet. So this is similar to having another piece of paper, and I can just make some columns here. So top left hand corner, I'm going to call this sheet the revenue spreadsheet. And then I'm going to go down to A3, and for every transaction that I make, every sale that I make, I need to keep track of how much I'm selling it for, when I sold it, and a little description of what I sold, so that way I can keep track of this. So for example, here I'm going to say date, and then I'm going to say sale amount, and then here I'm going to say description. So a sample entry for this, I make a sale. I'm going to tap on date. I'm going to say whatever the date is, so maybe 12-5, or you can say December 5. That's up to you. And then the sale amount, I sold something that was worth $5, and then a description was keychain to Mr. Smith. Okay, you can see that my words are kind of going past this column. So I'm going to tap on the top where it says C, and then next to C it has those little left-right arrows. I'm going to drag that, so that way it makes that column, those cells, wider. And then I'm going to click on 3 over here, so I select everything in that row. I want that to kind of stand out, so I'm going to tap on the B for bold up at the top, and I might say the U for underline also, so that way it stands out. I might do the same thing for this this one right here. Might just bold that. And then we also need this to automatically do our calculations for us, so we don't have to do a lot of math all the time. So in D1, I'm going to tap there, and I'm going to call this total revenue. And then in the column next to it, I'm going to make it do math. So to make it do math, I push equals. And then I want it to add things up, so I'm going to say sum. And then whatever I want it to add, I'm going to put it in these parentheses. So I'm going to say open parentheses, and I'm actually going to say close parentheses. But then down here at the bottom, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go into the middle of those parentheses, And I want us to add up everything in that B column. And so I'm going to tap on B right there up at the very top, and it's going to say B:B, and that means everything in the B column is going to add up. So at this point, I'm going to push the check mark in the top right hand corner to make that go away. You can see that I have $5 in that column, so it's adding that, and in E1 it says 5. So if I add another sale here for $12, I push return or the check mark, and then it automatically adds that, and you can see that is putting it right there. Now I want everything that I add in this B column, I want that to be like a dollar sign. And so top right hand corner, I'm going to push this little A with the underline, and then where it says text and cell, I'm going to tap on cell, and I'm going to go down to where it says number format, and then from here I'm going to scroll down until I get to accounting. Okay, now if I get a negative number, instead of having a minus, it's going to put it in parentheses. We already talked about that. That's an accounting way of showing that you have a negative number. I want the same thing for right here in E1. I always want that to be like an accounting format. So I'm going to do the A with the underline. I'm going to go down to number format, and then I'm going to go down to where it says accounting, and then do the check mark. Okay, we're done with this. I haven't actually made any sales yet, so I'm going to tap over here. You can see that I get these two little dots in the top left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner of that cell. I can select multiple cells, and then I can push delete, and it's going to erase. And then if I go up to the top, you can see my total revenue is now, it just says dash, which means that that's just nothing. So now I'm going to go to expenses. I'm going to do the same thing, but up here I'm going to say expenses spreadsheet. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say date, expenses, description. Up here I'm going to say expenses total. And then right here I'm going to do a calculation, so equals. I'm going to have it add. I'm going to do open parentheses, close parentheses. Down here next to where it says FX, I'm going to go back to the middle there, and I'm going to tap on B, so it adds up everything in the B column. I'm going to push the check mark. I'm done. I want this to be bold, so I'm going to select the row 3. I'm going to say bold. I'm going to say underline. And then up here in row 1, I'm going to say bold. I'm not going to underline it. I want everything in the, actually need to do the check mark. I want everything in the B column to be the number format. So select B, A underline, make sure it's on cell, go down to where it says number format, click on accounting, and I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to test this out. I would say December 5. I'm going to say my expense is going to be, I used 3 meters of the regular PLA. So I'm going to have it do math for me. I'm going to say equals. My cost per meter of PLA is 0.25. Actually, I think it's 0.2. And then I'm going to say times. So for times, I'm going to do the little asterisk, which is like the little star. And then I used 3 meters, so I'm going to say 3. So 20 cents per meter times 3 meters. I'm going to push return. It will automatically calculate that to be 60 cents. And then for the description, I'm going to say cost to print keychain for Smith. And I can see that I'm going out of my little column here, so maybe I'm going to click on C and then kind of extend that out, so that way I can fit my text in there. Now we're almost done. At this point, I'm going to go back to profit summary. And I want to link this so I don't have to constantly be updating my revenue and expense. What I do know is I want my profit to be my revenue minus my expense. So I'm going to have it do math. I'm going to say equals. And I want it to take whatever my revenue is. I don't want to have to change this every time. So in B1, I'm going to make that be my revenue. So for this calculation, I'm going to say whatever is in B1 minus whatever is in B2. Now, nothing is there right now, but when I get something there, it will take whatever that number is and it's going to do math with that. It's going to take B1 and then it's going to subtract from B1 whatever is in B2. So I have my formula. I'm going to push return. And you can see right now there are no numbers, and so there's nothing. I want everything that's here, I want that to be like a counting format. So I'm going to click on the B column. I'm going to say A underline. I'm going to go down to number format and accounting. Okay. And now if I put in, let's say revenue, I put in $5. There's nothing for expenses, so it's going to be $5. If I enter 2 for expenses, it's now going to automatically do the calculation for me. That's exactly what I want. Now, I do not want to delete what is in B3 because I have a math problem there. Down at the bottom, you can see the math that's happening, B1 minus B2. I don't want to delete that, but I do want to delete these. So I'm going to get rid of those, keep the other one. Now, what's going to be really nice is if I just enter things in my revenue spreadsheet and it will automatically calculate the total and then will automatically bring it into this page. That's going to be really, really easy for me. So there's a nice little way I can do that. I'm going to click on revenue, B1, and I'm going to say equals, and then I'm going to type the name of the spreadsheet, and I think we called it revenue. So I'm going to say equals. And so whatever this cell will always equal whatever I'm going to type here. So I'm going to say equals revenue. And after revenue, I'm going to say exclamation mark. And then I'm going to say whatever the cell was. And honestly, I don't remember what that cell was. For right now, I know it was in the first row. And I want to say it was like maybe the D column. So I'm going to say D2. And let's see if that works. Okay, nothing shows up. So I'm going to push this check mark top left-hand corner to exit kind of my edit menu. And I'm just going to go check and see what that cell was. So I'm going to say revenue. And it was not D1, it was actually E1, this one right here. So I clicked on that. I now have to exit this by pushing the check mark top left-hand corner. So I'm going to go back and change that formula to be E1 instead of D1. So profit summary. Click on where it says B1. Down at the bottom, oh my goodness, I already forgot what it was. But I'm going to come down here, and I think it was E1. And I might need to go back and check that again. So equals, that means that this cell will be whatever I tell it to be. And then I'm going to say revenue exclamation mark, which is going to reference that revenue spreadsheet. And then I'm going to say E1 because I think that's the cell. And if this doesn't work, I'll go back and check and make sure that I'm doing it right. So I see now that it has like a little dash, which means that it's referencing a number. And I think that I got it right. So I'm going to go back to revenue E1. Yep, that's right. I'm going to just check and see if this works. I'm going to say I made a sale. And I'm going to say $3. Always make sure that you give it a date. So let's say December 3, and then I'm going to say Christmas ornament. Okay, so I made my sale. You can see my total revenue right now is 3. And just for the fun of it, let's have 2 sales here. And I'll have the other one be on 12-4, and it's going to be, I sold a little cube. And I realized that I made a mistake here. This should have been 12-4, and then this should have been, I don't remember what I was saying, but let's make it $6. Okay, so 3 plus 6 is 9. I can see that that's happening in the total revenue. I come back here to profit and summary, and I can see that that is pulling that number, whatever is in E1, it's putting that here in B1. So I've made $9 in revenue. Let's check and make sure, oh, we need to add our expenses. So I'm going to say equals, and the name of that spreadsheet was expenses. I have to end with an exclamation mark to say that it's the name of a spreadsheet. And then I think that was also in cell E1 of that spreadsheet. So I'm going to do check. Yeah, I forgot to erase whatever I had before. So I had 60 cents, and let's say $5, and we'll give it a date of 12-3, and then we'll say printing cube and ornament. And then we can see that our total expenses is $560. If we go back to profit summary, we now have revenue of $9. We have expenses of $5.60. And so our total profit so far is $3.40. So every sale that you make, you need to give me the money. So you give me the $9. So I'll write it down, and then at the end of the month, I'm going to take out the $5.60 for the cost of printing your products, and then I will give you $3.40, and that's yours to keep. So at this point, we just need to turn this in. We're totally done, and you're going to be updating this every time you make a sale, every time you print something. It must come on this spreadsheet. If it doesn't, you will fail Steam Lab 100%. Make sure that you do this. It's very important. And so at this point, we're going to take a link to this document, this spreadsheet, and we're going to put it in a document, and then we'll put it in Google Classroom. The reason why you can't just share this document with me is because if you do, it locks it, and then you cannot edit it, and that would be bad. So we're going to go to these three little dots, top right-hand corner. We're going to say share and export. I'm going to say copy link. And actually, let's check and make sure what's happening with this link. So push the three little dots. Let's say share and export. Let's say manage access. And now it says general access. Only people added can open this link. That's not what we want. We want Mr. Fox to be able to view the link, but not be able to edit it. So I'm going to click on where it says restricted, and then it says restricted again. Let's click on that. We're going to say general access, anyone with the link. Let's click on that. And then it says anyone with the link. We want them to be a viewer. We don't want them to be able to edit, so we're just going to say viewer. That's what we want. And then at this point, if you click on the top right-hand corner where it has that little circle, not circle, but like oval looking thing, if you click on that, bottom it says link copy to clipboard. So now at this point, you're going to go to Google Docs, and you want to be able to open that up. And I'm going to make a new document, and it's a good idea to have folders inside your docs. And I'm just going to say profit and loss spreadsheet link. I'm going to say create, and I should probably maybe put my name on it just so that way it's clear. Mr. Fox's. I'm going to say create, and then here I'm just going to say paste. Okay. And now this is what I want to turn into Google Classroom. So I can go straight to Google Classroom, and I think I can link to this, but I can also do top right-hand corner, and then I think I can say, let's see, share and export, and I think we want to say manage access. We want to change it from restricted to anyone with the link, and anyone with the link can be a viewer. Now I'm going to copy this link, and this is the link, this document. This is what I want to turn in to Google Classroom. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom, and then I'm going to go down to where it says business licensing, and I am realizing that I have not posted this quite yet. Give me 1 second here. Apologize for the delay, and we're going to refresh. Oh, there it was. All right, profit and loss spreadsheet. So you're going to go here, and then down at the bottom it says your work. You're going to say add work. You can insert link. Okay, you could also add from Drive. and then you can find your document from here, or you can say insert link, and then you can paste your link. Make sure it's the one to the document and not the actual spreadsheet, because like I said, if you link to the actual spreadsheet, it freezes it, and then you can't change anything after that point. Okay, it says something went wrong, please try again, but that's what you're gonna do, and it should work for you, and that's all you have to do.